number one thing is you have Kevin Durant. If Kevin Durant's not being utilized to his max potential, you may not ever win a championship with a team with Kevin Durant. As you can see that since, he left with the Warriors, it's been tough for him to get back to the finals. And I just think that they just need to take the time to see what what all they can do to make his situation better, and how can they utilize each Devin Booker, Bradley Beals, and Kevin Durant's. How can they cater to all of their strengths and be able to make it all work together?
Yes, hey, I'm icing the game like a free throw. I love when she talking the lingo. Wanna fuck on the freako. She says she bringing the Tito's. We hacking the game like a Chico. I'm a monster, it's time for the beast mode. Cracking your skulls like Debo. Straight to the strip, all singles. They pimping straight to the people. You a lame, you a dork, and bimbo.
Oh, yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. It's your boy, Twan. We back with another episode of the Off-Topic podcast. This is episode 17. For this episode, I just wanted to just give a shout out to the MVP, Joker, and also talk on the Rookie of the Year, Wemby. I will take the time to just give my 2 cents on what, transpired in the first round, and then also my thoughts on this current second round that we're in right now. I am recording this episode right after May 10th. This is like midnight, May 11th right now. So the series that just happened was the Knicks and Pacers, and I just watched the Timberwolves versus Denver. So I will go. Everything I'm speaking of is right after these game 3 of those games. So, but just to start things off, I just wanted to give a shout out to the MVP, the 3-time MVP, Joker, Nikola Jokic. Just a question for myself. I just and anybody else that is watching, do I feel that Shai Gilgeous or Luka was snubbed for the MVP this year? What I will say is that I definitely think that Shai was definitely deserving of this award. I know it's tough being in the West Conference final, or really just in the Western Conference. So I know it's hard to already trying to be the best team in the West, which they did. Oklahoma City did find that number 1 spot over Joker's Denver squad. But, when we look at Joker as this MVP, I mean, he does everything, on paper. He does everything for the team. He does everything for the organization, and does everything on the floor during the game. It's kind of tough to beat that kind of player as a when it comes to stats, from stats, and I will say shout out to Shai and Luka, because I mean the last 3 years had just been Joker, competing against Giannis or Joel Embiid, and I know they had injuries this year, so that's kind of altered those results for the MVP. But I think that Shai and Luka were definitely both deserving of having the opportunity to win. I think Shai a little bit more. I wouldn't say that Shai or Luka was snubbed per se. I just think that it's hard to beat Joker. And I think the only way that, we can start moving forward from this span of Joker winning MVPs is just finding some better Western teams, until any Western team can really find a way to stop what Joker, his momentum and just the way that he plays, and disrupt his game. Joker could probably win the MVP another 4 more times. So we'll definitely see how that goes. But shout out to Joker. I definitely think that he's, I think it was a close call for me personally, I think it was still a close call from Joker or Shai on that MVP award. Now I just wanted to go ahead and go straight into just to the Rookie of the Year, Wemby. I know early in the season, my pick was for Chet Holmgren. I just assumed that, with him being on a better squad, that gave him more opportunities. But as the course of the season went on, I can see that that Oklahoma City is just well established. So it's hard for Chet to have been Rookie of the Year, just because there wasn't a lot of room for him to, take a leap, because a lot of their check marks that they needed to check off, they had it on Oklahoma City. They have a pretty great squad. So I definitely think that did play a part. With Wemby being on the squad that he is with San Antonio Spurs, it gave him all the room that it did for him to be a rookie. It allowed him to make mistakes. It allowed him to get his foot in. And it's crazy how much, the media had changed their narrative with Wemby from literally the beginning of the season to now. It's, from then on, it was all these question marks on what he can do, what he can't do, or, their expectations on what Wemby, will be. And I think that Wembyama surprised just about everybody in the league. I know a lot of the players. I know a lot of the people that were talking bad about him or bashing him. I think that a lot of people, if they weren't woke before, they are now. I think Wembyama is definitely a guy, an athlete that we're going to be talking about for a long time. And I just think this is literally just the beginning of something new for the NBA. And I'm just very excited to see. My expectations of Wembyama, I know he just won his, he just won his Rookie of the Year. He was a finalist in the Defensive Player of the Year as well, matched up against Rudy and Bam. But my expectation is that he's going to win probably 2 or 3 Defensive Players of the Years, maybe another 4th one, just because he is just that efficient on the defensive side of the floor. So I definitely think he has some defensive awards coming his way. I think that there is a possibility in the next few years, with MVP, once they be able to get a squad around Wembyama, I think that San Antonio is going to be lit. We're about to start seeing the beginning of a new San Antonio squad that's coming up and coming soon as well too. So I think we should just wait and see. And my question for myself as well is, should I give Wembyama more time? I'm gonna be honest, I don't think I should. I think that he, in just his rookie year, he didn't even have full real minutes throughout the whole entire season. We're about to go into a new season where they're letting Wembyama loose. So I don't think there is time for him to give him more time. I think that the time is now for San Antonio and for Wembyama. And I'm not necessarily saying San Antonio and Wembyama needs to win a championship now. I'm just saying more so that San Antonio needs to start pushing for playoff contention right now. I think it's time for him to get the experience, get the exposure, and let him get him. I mean, even if the playoffs is just too soon, I think we should get San Antonio to the play-in position to where that they can still have a fight. They can fight in a tournament setting, like a one-game elimination, where they can really prove themselves and prove to the NBA and the world that they are to be reckoned with, and they're trying to bring back that old San Antonio culture. So we'll see, how things play out for Wembyama, but I don't want to give him more time. I just think, they should start piecing around Wembyama now, because I think he is hot. I think he is young, 19, and just trying to figure himself out as a professional. And I think that he's going to figure it out very soon. So they need to go ahead and start making all those adjustments now. Now on to just the first round. I know we're pretty mid-deep into the second round right now, but just my biggest takeaways. The first thing, the team that impressed me the most from the first round, I just wanted to shout out the Timberwolves and Anthony Edwards. For Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves to get to the first round of the playoffs, they finished this year in 3rd, but their first round playoff was a test, I feel like, and that was Phoenix Suns with Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Timberwolves impressed me the most because they showed that not only are they capable on, being matched up with any team in the West, but they are capable of winning at a high level against superstars. I mean, they swept the Phoenix Suns, and to be able to do that in just 4 games says a lot about their coaching, their players. It just says a lot about what they can offer and what they are striving to do. And I think the biggest thing about the Timberwolves is that there's a lot of tough teams in the playoffs this year, but Timberwolves is definitely a team that I know that wants to win, and they want to win badly. I don't think Ant wants to lay off a season where he can't really compete for a championship. He wants it right now, and you can see it as he plays on. I'm not going to get too much to the second round in this dialogue, but I will in a little bit, because there's more to say about Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves. But from the first round, for them to sweep Phoenix Suns, they're the first team that I wanted to shout out, when it comes to just being impressed. Now, on the flip side of that, the team that disappointed me the most was definitely Phoenix Suns. I just think that this year was just a failure. There's no other way to put it. They just could not get it together. Even just watching those games, it looks like they just could not find a way to just find the edge over Minnesota. Now, I mean, on paper, Phoenix looks great. I'm not really sure what they would need to do moving forward to kind of get themselves together. I know they just, and this is as of me recording, they just hired Mike Budenholzer, who has won with Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis. So that is the new coach in the Phoenix Suns. My guess is that they're probably just going to make that swap, maybe not make too many changes with the actual roster, and just see if, Mike Budenholzer, the new coach, can actually do something with the roster that they have. I still think they still need some work to do. I'm not really sure what those areas are, but I just know that the number one thing is you have Kevin Durant. If Kevin Durant's not being utilized to his max potential, you may not ever win a championship with a team with Kevin Durant. As you can see that since, he left with the Warriors, it's been tough for him to get back to the finals. And I just think that they just need to take the time to see what, what all they can do to make his situation better, and how can they utilize each Devin Booker, Bradley Bills, and Kevin Durant's. How can they cater to all of their strengths and be able to make it all work together? I don't know if I would say that I'm actually disappointed in the Lakers, per se. I know that the whole, them going against Denver was one that we discussed a lot about, seeing if, this was going to be the matchup that they are going to be tested. This is the matchup that shows if they are actually ready for the playoffs. And I was more impressed that they did get one game out of those, out of those four. They lost to Denver 4-1, but I think it would have been more disappointing if the Lakers got swept again with a second time in a row in the first round against Denver Nuggets. But that didn't happen. They at least got one game. So the Lakers were like a close second to me. But nobody else really stands out for me. I think that most of the teams that did get into the playoffs in these first rounds definitely were deserving to be there. They fought to be in the playoffs, and now we're just moving on. So, and right now, just my thoughts on the second round. The question I have for myself is, who do I think needs to prove themselves in this second round? And that's just the East and West. I'm gonna start off with the East. The Knicks are not the team that I think needs to prove themselves the most. I really think it's Boston Celtics. The Boston had Miami Heat the first round. They won 4-1. Right now, they're matched up with Cleveland. I don't know if these are the big tests, that can kind of answer. I don't know if they can answer their questions right away. Excuse me. With being the best team in the NBA right now, just based off these matchups right now. I think that they're going to get a real test if the Knicks win in this series. I think the Knicks are going to be a big test for Boston. But right now, I think, not to say Boston's had it easy in no fashion. I'm just saying that if Boston want to be considered the best team of this NBA season, Boston got to get themselves to the finals and really shake some noise when they get there as well too. But at least for the second round, I was like just like to see if Boston's going to continue to stay dominant or they're just going to lay down. And then just for the West, for a team that just need to prove themselves right now, I really think that Denver and Minnesota are tough. OKC, obviously, they got that first spot in the West, but the team that I want to speak on is just Dallas right now. I think that's the team that really needs to prove themselves. That duo of Luka and Kyrie, with Jason Kidd as the coach, I think that as an organization for the city, that they really need to not only win out of this series against Oklahoma City, but they need to be matched up with a team that's really going to defend for that West Conference Finals, and that's either going to be Denver Nuggets or Minnesota. So right now for the second round, I think Dallas, if you can, fight and prove to everybody that y'all can beat OKC, then I'm willing to bet that Dallas can actually win and make themselves go to the NBA Finals, in this season. So I know those are the main two teams I want to be looking at in this round two so far. Round two has been great. We've had some good matchups. It looks like we're not having no sweeps this round because I know that the Pacers finally put out a Game 3 win, as well as the Denver Nuggets. They are only now down 2-1 against Minnesota. moving forward, we still got the matchup of Cleveland and Boston, like I said, which me personally, I still think that Boston's probably going, do what they need to do. And then lastly, we have this OKC and Dallas matchup. It's a 1-1 tie right now. So we're going to see how that plays out. I think that can go to like a game 6 or 7, swaying either way, OKC or Dallas. So I would love to see what happens next. But just in regards to just my podcast, I know I'm going to have a few more guests come on before I'm actually done with this season. This season will be done by the time the finals come around. So when the finals is over, it's probably when I'm going to be taking my break, getting, prepped and ready for the next NBA season. But in that time, I still will have some more guests, new faces, new opinions, and just a new insight on the NBA game. So you guys just stay tuned for that. Other than that, I just wanted to have a quick little episode on just my take on just the awards that were given, as well as the first round and the second round that's going on right now. But you guys comment what you guys think. Same questions for you guys as well. Which team have you guys, impressed you, disappointed you, or even just, what teams do you feel like still need to prove themselves in these NBA playoffs? Just comment below. But other than that, man, I thank you guys for listening, watching. Continue to subscribe, comment, share it to your family, friends, and all. I appreciate all the love and support that you guys do be showing me. So I'm going to continue to do my part as well, too. But other than that, man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Until next time, I see you on the next episode. Yes, sir.